and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our Tuesday, stop warming up already. Welcome to our Tuesday night live broadcast. So glad you're here. Go ahead and drop a hi down in the comments. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. Give this guy some love. This is my husband, Jackie, and he is joining us on our Tuesday night live, obviously why he's in the video, right? But tonight, some of our most highly requested videos are Q&A. You guys submit questions all the time, which I absolutely love. But tonight, it's going to be like a little bit different spin on it. This guy is going to be answers. You're not really.
I can answer.
You're not really answering. He's asking questions, and so
interrogate. It's an
he's gonna. It's a Q&A, weight loss, health, all the things, interrogation. And so you're not going to want to miss this. So if you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, welcome. Make sure to join our growing community here on YouTube so you are the first to find out about any announcements, brand new recipes, brand new things that drop here on the channel. Believe it or not, there's some really cool things that drop. Anyway, make sure you smash the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and without further ado.
Okay, so first of all, I never get these numbers right. So you started at what weight and got down to what weight?
I started at 288 pounds, morbidly obese, lost 161 pounds in 13 months, going from a size 22 down to a size 2.
So 288 pounds.
Yes.
So when was the last time you were at 120 pounds? That's where you're at now?
288 to 127.
127. Okay, so when's the last time you were at 127 pounds?
I have no recollection.
Like was that high school?
No, before then. The smallest I can ever remember being was a size 7 in the 7th grade. I didn't weigh myself all the time at home. We didn't have a scale out. So I cannot remember a time when I was this size. Like maybe early teen, no, I don't know. I have no idea.
So after puberty, you cannot remember any time that you're... That's crazy. The reason I said after puberty is because, adult body composition type stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. So when did you first become aware that your weight might be a problem? Like, meaning a problem as in you were significantly overweight. Because I think some people who haven't had a weight problem, they think that overweight people were instantly aware of it. But there probably had to be some sort of time period that you became aware of, like, I'm heavier than the other girls.
Yeah. So in high school, middle school, I wasn't like morbidly obese. I wasn't super overweight, but I was in like a 10, 12 in high school. So I was definitely bigger than most of my classmates. And I can remember even in like the 7th and 8th grade, bodysuits became a thing. They snap in the crotch and like you had the bodysuits on, right? And I was an athlete, so it wasn't that big of a deal because I just always thought I was more muscular. And I remember me and my best girlfriend, Kendra, we were going to go shopping for bodysuits. We were going to get matching bodysuits. And we put on bodysuits. And of course, it's not a t-shirt. It's not a jersey. You can't hide anything. And I looked at her and I was like, frick, like she had a waist and everything was smooth. And inside of a bodysuit, I had all this extra weight around my stomach. And I can remember that was the first time I was embarrassed about my form. The first time I was embarrassed about my stomach, my midsection. And at this point, I had already committed to the bodysuit. So it was like wearing the bodysuit and then saying, I'm cold. I'm cold is a fluffy girl's friend because you can layer when you're cold. So I used the excuse that I was cold to wear something over the bodysuit.
That's crazy. So here's the thing so most people don't know this. So I met you in our 20s and you were overweight then, but you never, it appeared that it never ever bothered you. Like at all. Like you were so confident. And people used to always say, oh, Carmen's so confident. People used to envy how confident they were of you. So I don't know. How does that reconcile? I don't understand. I don't even know what question to ask. Because did it bother you every day? Or was it just a way of life and then it bothered you sometimes? What was that like? Was it totally fake? Were you never confident?
Yeah, so there was areas I was confident in, right? I was confident in being a businesswoman. I was confident in being a wife. I was confident in lots of areas. And the truth is, like, I would layer. I would put on my Spanx every day with my shirt, all my layers, because when you're fluffy, you have the tank top and you have the overshirt and you have the jacket. Like, everything's layered to disguise the fluff, right? And so I would walk out feeling like, there were days I would look in the mirror and be like, yes, I look good. Like, dang. So I was in a bit of denial. Like, I would look at other people that were a size 22 or that were morbidly obese, and I would think I looked better. I would think I looked smaller than they did. Like, you know how you can see 4 different people that all weigh 150 pounds and some look bigger than others? I thought I just had more muscle, so I looked better or different than the other people that weighed 288 pounds. And I was in so much denial that I would cut the tags out of my clothing. And the places I was probably the most unconfident was when I had to start stripping down. So in a bathing suit, in dress, like in a nice dress, in naked, all those things. Like, that's where I was the least confident, but I was always aware of it. I was always aware of how I was standing in pictures. You want to kind of be in the middle between people so they can sandwich you in. You're not the fluffy girl. You're not the bookend. And so I was very aware. I was very aware of flying, like getting the window. I did not want to be the fluffy girl in the middle that was spilling all over everybody. And so I wasn't aware of how aware I was of it until I didn't have to be aware anymore. But it affected every day.
That's the tongue twister. So you just so a big part of you, even though you made all these concessions, you're saying there's a big part of you. Are you saying there's a big part of you that just kind of accepted your form and your size? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I always wanted to be small, but I didn't think I could be. I thought I was big boned. My mom was overweight, and I just thought I would see before and afters, and I would wish and I would dream. And I can even remember like praying, like, God, like, why can't I do that? Like, help me do that. Like, give me a before and after. Like, let me be like that girl. Let me shop in regular stores. Like, this was something I prayed about. And I would start diets and I would never finish them, and I would have some results, lose a little bit, gain it back. So it really bothered me. I just didn't know if I could ever be one of those people who had it before and after.
So wait, and for so long did you just not dwell on it? I mean, literally. So ladies and gentlemen, like, they don't know this. Like this, there's a whole part of her life. We were married for how many years before you started losing weight?
Like 5.
So we were married for 5 years, and there's a whole part that I truly had no understanding of or no concept of, because she did appear to be so confident. She did appear, and anytime her weight was, I never brought up her weight. Like, we never, I don't think even one time in our entire marriage I brought her up. I knew she was a bigger girl when I met her and married her, and that was what it was. And I was never going to say anything till I knew that it affected your health. But I had no idea that there was all these other things and justifications and, all this stuff that happened. So there's a common justification you kept saying. You kept saying, I thought I was more muscular. So you were an athlete in high school, and a pretty good athlete in high school. And it's wild. It's like you anchored your justifications to that belief. Because years later, you weren't active. When I met you,
I was busy. I was busy.
Right. Not athletic, right? Like when I first met you, I know you were finishing up playing a volleyball season or something. But that was like when we were talking. By the time we started dating some months later, from that point on, and we dated for a lot of years. So from that point on, too many. And from that point on to getting married, so that was over 10 years.
Yeah.
You had never been active, athletic, exercised, or anything.
Correct.
So you're telling me that you constantly used the anchor of, oh, I was muscular.
I built muscle. I had more muscle than these other fluffy girls. Yeah, that's what I told myself.
So why do you think
tell you, I know when it cracked. So
yes, that's what I want to know.
The first time I ever thought maybe I don't have that big a muscle, I was watching some workout video, right, in my spare time, because nobody knew, right? Like, I did not talk about my weight. I pretended like it didn't bother me. Like, we didn't talk about it.
No.
I never talked about it. I didn't go shopping with anybody. Like, it was all super private, super secretive. And I put on this happy face. And I can remember I was watching like a testimonial video of some people that had lost weight. And I was watching like a workout program, and there was this chick in there who was leading the workout program, and she's like lifting these weights. And she was lifting heavier weights than I could lift. And I had this big arm. And she had this tiny
tinier,
little
right?
in my mind, in my morbidly obese mind, she had this scrawny arm, but she was lifting more than I could lift. And I remember thinking, her little arm can lift that? You mean this isn't all muscle?
Really? Did you consciously have that thought?
Yes. I mean, I knew there was some fluff on it, but I just thought she's got to have more muscle than me because she can lift more than me. That means my arm could be that big. What? Like this, yeah, it was a conscious thought of, you mean there's not giant muscle and big bones under here? Like this is mostly fluff? Because my arm was like, 4 times the size it is now. Yeah.
That brings me to a question I want to ask you about other people's weight loss, but I want to stick to your weight loss first. So, and ladies and gentlemen, some of the stuff I'm still learning. Like when I hear her talk with clients, I'm like, what? Like, it's like secret eating. I didn't know that was a thing. So, like, I did not know, and probably because I'm too proud of how much I can eat and what I eat. Like, I didn't know people literally adults hid food from spouses and stuff. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. So, first of all, can you explain exactly what is secret eating? Like, what does that mean? What does that look like for somebody?
So there's all different levels of it. But for me, it was, going through the drive-through on the way home, knowing I was going to cook dinner as soon as I got home, and on the way home from work, going through and getting a double cheeseburger, and you get it, you eat it, and you throw the wrapper away, not in the top, but you ball it up really tight, and you either stop at a gas station and throw it away at the gas station, or you throw it away and you push it down to the bottom of the trash can. It's going on vacation and packing in your suitcase a king size Hershey's bar with almonds, putting it in the closet, and eating pieces of it when no one's around on vacation. Because what if you're hungry and everybody's not ready to eat? And fluffy people, we don't like to, a lot of times, like if everybody's snacking, that's one thing. But if nobody else is snacking, you don't want to just be like the fluffy girl snacking. And so it's making sure that, a lot of times when we deal with our weight, we're afraid of if we're going to be hungry, or if there's not going to be food, and we're conscious about eating in front of people because we're conscious about a judgment because we know we're bigger. And so it's cooking and taking a bite of something, and when someone, taking a bite of the frosting and someone walks in the room and you instantly have a face and you stop chewing. You don't want them to know you just ate a bite of frosting.
So you're that self-conscious about things like eating frosting? I mean, it's so weird because I wouldn't have cared. Like that's so wild. So, okay, back up. You mentioned a double cheeseburger. So I can understand.
It's going in my break room at my office that I owned. I owned it. We had snacks that we sold and stuff like that, right? Like vending machine snacks. It was going into our stock room, shutting the door and locking it, and eating a bag of Cheetos in there by myself, and then coming out with the thing. Like if I didn't have pockets, I would wad it up and shove it right here and then walk out and throw it away somewhere else. Like in my own office, my food, locking myself in a stock room to eat it.
But help me understand, like, no one's going to look at you eating a burger or a pack of Cheetos and assume that you're just constantly eating. Like, okay, so let me back up. What is the thing with stopping at the store getting double cheeseburger? Because I'm sure you did that on the way home when you were cooking. Like, if it's a guy, I could see coming home from work, think you're a little hungry, don't know what the wife's cooking, you pick something up. You're not going to tell her after she's worked to make you something, oh, I'm not going to, I'm not going to tell her that I already ate, I'm going to eat it. I can see that, but you're the one cooking.
Because we try to be regular. We're trying to fit in. And we obviously, fluffy people eat more than normal weighted people, or we wouldn't be fluffy, right? Like what we eat in secret shows up in, what we eat in private shows up in public. But so often we want to be perceived as being accepted, as being normal. Many of us are conscious about our weight. We're conscious about what people think of us. We've been made fun of. We've had comments come out, and people say comments to us. And so we don't want to draw attention, and we probably perceive more than what's going on.
Gotcha.
I didn't want you to perceive that I was being a pig or that I was eating all this stuff. For me, I wanted you to think I just ate normal food.
Well, I think in a weird way it worked because I actually thought you ate way less than I ate. I mean, that's the truth. I really thought, wow, she's just got bad genes. Like, that's crazy. So I guess in a weird way it worked. But, okay, wow, that's crazy. And that was me being naive too, obviously.
That's why whenever I hear somebody say, oh, they have a weight issue, but they don't even eat that much, I'm like, no, they don't eat that much in front of you. Same thing going to a restaurant, ordering food.
Yeah, you can't gain weight without calorie excess.
No, you
like
can't.
It's impossible.
You can't. But we fool ourselves. I told you this before. I just don't eat enough. I just don't eat enough. That's why I'm overweight.
And you also tied it into eating sporadically.
Yeah.
Like I don't eat much during the day, but I shove it all in at night, after dinner and that sort of thing, making up the calories. And I bought into that some too, because I had done that.
I bought into it too. If you tell yourself something long enough and strong enough, you believe it. I believed it too.
Right. But this is crazy. Okay. So when did it come to the realization? Well, first of all, what are some of the things that you had tried to lose weight?
Everything.
When was the first time you really tried to lose weight? When's the first time that you were like, I'm going to make this a go and I'm going to lose weight?
I was 15.
What'd you do?
Starved myself.
What does that mean though?
So I can remember being dropped off at the fair. The fair was like a big deal. I grew up in a small town in Michigan, and I had like $5 to eat for the day. And so I would just be like, I want to wear my bodysuit. I'm just not going to eat today. It'll make my stomach flatter. And I would go all day without eating. And then I would be like, and then I'm going to walk. If I'm going to get McDonald's, I'm going to walk the mile to the McDonald's. I'm not going to get a ride there. I'm going to walk. And so literally I would have this thing of not eating all day. And so for me, it was nothing healthy. Like I tried all the unhealthy things. Like I would go a day or two and try not to eat, or this in my 15-year-old mind, instead of going, like I had $1.25 for lunch back then. And so I would go get a cookie, because for me, I didn't know anything about nutrition. So if I just ate less quantity. And so I would get like a 25-cent cookie for lunch or for breakfast. Then I would get 2 Nutty Bars from Little Debbie at lunchtime.
But you're making it up in calories.
I know, shush.
And then you're still hungry because it's...
Yes, and so I would have a Nutty Bar for lunch. I would have a Nutty Bar after school, in between school and practice. And then I would bank 50 cents. So here I'm starving myself. I'm banking 50 cents. I'm winning at life and continue.
But eating crap food.
Still
hungry.
So unhealthy. Like having this mindset that I need to starve myself to lose weight as a 15-year-old.
But you still were starving yourself. You're eating Nutty Buddies and... You're still eating high-calorie food. You're
Correct.
still walking to get the burger. But you're walking at least, right?
Yeah.
That's the justification. Okay.
So 15 was the first time I can remember, like, trying to do something.
When did you... And I know you tried several different things, even as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And would justify... I do know that. You would justify, like... you would make out like you were just trying to lose a little bit of weight, or... you'd fast for religious reasons, or...
Oh, yeah, fasting. Yeah, those of us with weight issues, we can justify a fast.
Yeah, totally. I was consciously aware of that. I was like, something doesn't seem right. So when did you get to the point that you were like... Because obviously you are an incredible before and after, right? So today, when did you get to the point... What was the moment for you when you were like, okay, I really got to do something?
After we had our second child... I always knew, I knew the inner turmoil that I struggled with being overweight. I knew the confidence issues. I knew that I couldn't just go into any store and shop. I knew that when I looked in the mirror, I didn't love the reflection staring back at me. And we just had our second child, which was a daughter. And I didn't want her to struggle. I didn't want our kids to have the same issues that I had had. And we had come from her like 1 month checkup, and they gave me a parenting magazine, and I'm flipping through it one night. He's working, and it's a Tuesday night, and all of a sudden I read a statistic, and it said how kids with overweight parents, and it said, are you setting your child up to be overweight? And I was like, what? Because I always believed that I was the parent who was overweight, but my kids wouldn't be, that I could eat the cheesecake and they would eat the carrots. And it gave statistics, it gave statistics that showed that if you have one parent in the home overweight, the children are 200% more likely to struggle with their weight. If you have 2 parents overweight, which at the time he was 50 pounds overweight, I was morbidly obese, then your children is 400% more likely to be overweight. And I sat there and I read that. And for the first time, because for me, my weight just affected me. Like, I had to buy bigger clothes. It affected me, and that was it. So I wasn't hurting anybody by being overweight. And when I read that article, I ugly cry, bawling, because I realized that my weight it had a big chance to affect our kids. And I had heard so many people in life say, I don't want to be overweight like my mom. I don't want to be unhealthy like my dad. And I had this vision of my kids being 30 years old and saying, I don't want to be unhealthy and overweight like my mom. And it just wrecked me. I thought I can either be the example of what they don't want to be, or I can do my dangest to be a healthy example of what they do want to be. And in that moment, I said, enough is enough. And I started the next day.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was the next day. Like, anytime we had ever, we're going to work out together or lose weight together, because we started doing some of this stuff together, we would start on Mondays.
Yeah.
Mondays. And I remember that was like a Tuesday or Wednesday.
A Wednesday morning.
And it was Tuesday night, you told me.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm starting tomorrow. And
Yeah.
I was like, why tomorrow?
I
And you're
said,
like, why?
he came upstairs and he's like, what's going on? I said, I'm going to lose 160. I had already done the research at that point, and I knew how, because you had when I'm bawling, he had another hour and a half to work. And so, yeah, you came up and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm losing weight.
We were eating supper, actually. And you were like, I'm starting tomorrow. And I was like, why tomorrow? Why not wait till Monday? And so I knew something was a little bit different about this time then. So what for you, what was it like? How did you decide what to do? Someone with truly ignorant about nutrition, like really ignorant about nutrition. Like, I can remember I do have a medical background, so I literally took a nutrition class in my past. And I remember early in our marriage saying, can we eat a little healthier sometimes? Because we would have like macaroni and cheese and vegetables and cheese, butter and cheese was on everything. And I was oblivious that she didn't know.
I didn't.
I was oblivious that she didn't know. I kept thinking, gosh, she doesn't care about what I'm saying. That was actually kind of a marital communication issue. It wasn't until years later, and when you explained, you're like, I thought I was doing better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So having no knowledge, no good foundation knowledge of nutrition or exercise or working out, weight management, how did you know where to start?
I went to YouTube and I just started watching before and afters. And there was a common thing that people did. And I was vain enough to want a good after. Like, if I was going to lose the weight, like one of my first early goals was I wanted to be able to wear a bikini if I could help it, right? If I could like zap my magic wand, I wanted to be able to wear a bikini with my husband on a beach. And so I started seeing all these like amazing before and afters, people that lost a lot of weight, because I had a lot of weight to lose. And they had started working out 6 days a week, and they had just really started watching what they ate. And that's what I did. I started counting my calories. I started working out 6 days a week from home, because we had a toddler and a newborn. And so going to the gym would have made it way harder. And that's what I did.
So how did you know, when you started working out, like, okay, I worked out with you early on. There wasn't, 288 pounds.
Uh-huh.
Push-ups and sit-ups weren't really a thing. Like, jumping lunges.
I feel like you're making fun of me.
No, I want to know. No.